Well, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy middle of February 2022. I'm Dr. Monica Powell, the Senior Associate Dean and Grad Dean here. I'm so delighted that you've come to spend time with us to kind of refresh yourself on key issues that are going on in the graduate programs here in the Jindal School, but also just to address some things that you may not have on your radar. I've got a great team of folks here with me today. I've got our Assistant Dean for Academic Operations, Dr. David Widdifield, is here. He's also our Supply Chain Management Science Supply Chain Program Director. We have Angela Howard, who is our lead advisor, assistant director down in our advising operation on the grad side. We have Dani Castro. Dani is one of the co-leaders of the Dean's Council, who's with us today. And then, of course, our master of ceremonies behind the scenes is Norma Rodriguez. So we got a nice team here today. So why don't we get started with just some important upcoming updates from Angela in our advising operation. Because Angela, I know we've got some deadlines coming up and some considerations for students with regard to registration for summer and fall and other issues that might be of importance, including graduation applications and stuff like that. So Angela, you want to tackle those issues?
Yes, Dean Powell, thank you. So the main things I want to remind students for right now, it is that summer and fall registration will be coming up very soon. So that means there are a few things that you need to start doing now before that registration actually begins. So it makes your life a lot easier later. So the first thing I would say is to look at the academic calendar, of course. All of our dates are updated right now. If something may change, it will be on that academic calendar found on the UT Dallas website. So the first two dates I want to remind you would be when the schedule is released. For summer, the schedule will be released on March 21st, and for fall, it will be March 28th. So remember, there's two different dates. They're not the same, but for summer, it's always open enrollment. So if you can start schedule or looking at the schedule now, in March, you can start to say, okay, this is what I plan to take, because open enrollment will be April 4th. So on that date, everybody who plans to take classes in summer can enroll themselves as long as you don't have any holds. And then for fall, you will have an enrollment date in Orion. You can find that under your Manage My Classes tab, and that will be where you will see a lot of things. But the main thing is your enrollment date. It says enrollment appointment, but that is not an actual standing appointment. That's just the first date that you can start to enroll yourself online. So those are two main things to remember. Be on the lookout for that. The other thing I want you to remember is if you are trying to do any waivers or transfers, to do those now. It does take a while for those to be processed because it goes through many offices within the School of Management as well as the registrar's office. So if you can start doing your waivers, transfers might be a little longer, but at least get that in now. The waiver is online. So if you go to the UT Dallas website for the School of Management, I would say the easiest way, instead of trying to click through the website, is just to put waiver form. And you will, once you search for that, you will find that waiver form is under electronic forms in the advising office. It's very simple. Make sure that you submit everything at first, first bat, just do it then, because you may slow down the process if you don't. But those are the main things. Please do your waivers and transfers now. You don't want to be doing that in April and then you can't enroll. So those are my main topics.
You know, Angela, I'm so glad you brought up those things, which actually reminded me of something else that I just want to tell students. You know, I know that there are huge demands on your time as a student, and you're often talking to your colleagues, your peers about, taking this class versus that class. And the one thing that students aren't making enough time for is to go in and look at those syllabi from previous semesters. That is not an absolute guarantee that the course will be exactly the same. It's not an absolute guarantee that the grading rubric or the grading policy that's in that syllabus will be the same in the former semester. But I think that it is quite shocking to me that we have a number of students who come up right after add drop closes and says, well, I just figured out on my syllabus that I don't like this or I don't like that. And that is a problem. You need to determine those things at the time that you are enrolling. Now, things can change. A professor can be unassigned and a new professor assigned, but the learning objectives and goals for classes remain the same. So please take a moment, one of those late nights where you can't find anything else to watch and you're bored to death with your TikTok video selection, look at the syllabi and make sure that you don't get signed up for something that you later come back and say, well, I don't like that class. Let me switch to another section and it's past the drop add date, because the answer to that is unfortunately going to be no. So just keep that in mind.
And thank you, Dr. Powell. You reminded me of something as well, the deadlines for spring that are coming up. So we have two big deadlines. The first is the last day to withdraw from a class, even with a W, that will be March 31st. So if you are not sure if you want to drop, start looking at start talking to your professor or looking at what your grades are, because you can only drop until March 31st with our assistance in advising. After that, you can no longer drop a class for the spring semester.
And a lot of graduate students think that it's like on the undergrad side. The undergrads have more time. Yes. The window to withdraw from a class is much shorter. And also, if you are an international student, you must be very mindful of your status with regard to the required enrollment and those kind of, you don't want to put yourself in status jeopardy because your enrollment is then too low. So you want to be really thoughtful about that. You cannot take that action without the assistance of an advisor. You will need them because you cannot do that on your own.
Mm-hmm. And ISSO, if you're an international student, please contact them to make sure you can drop a class. And then the other deadline is the late deadline for graduation. The university did extend a lot of the graduation deadlines this semester. The first was in January, but then they extended it to February. Now, the very last deadline that you can apply for graduation is March 1st. So if you have not contacted us at all, but you still want to graduate, we can still make you eligible within your Orion Student Center. So please reach out to JSOM GR Advising at utdallas.edu.
Yeah, that's great, Angela. Thank you for all of those reminders. I'm really appreciative of that. So, I want to talk about something that is really important to the heart of the Jindal School. And it has now been a couple of years since we've been able to execute on that. And that is around the OWLIEs. I think that students who have not been here a long time are not familiar with what are the OWLIEs. The OWLIEs are an award ceremony that we hold every spring in the month of April. And we recognize leadership in a whole bunch of different ways. We have an owl that sits out in our courtyard, looks a little similar to that dude right there, except he is silver, he's not yellow. And probably 7-8 years ago, the Dean's Council adopted that owl as our mascot, and we created the OWLIE Awards, which stands for Outstanding Worthy Leaders Involved Exceptionally. And there are a lot of different awards that are out there that you can nominate your colleagues for. And Norma is being awesome by showing you those. And these nominations are open. And we want you as students to get out there and nominate your colleagues. There's service awards, there's diversity and inclusion awards, there's faculty awards, student of the year. The most popular coveted ones are student org of the year and student org leader of the year. Those seems to be the highly competitive ones. But we want to encourage you to get out there and nominate. And I can't, because I don't remember right at this moment, Norma can probably tell us when the deadline is to nominate for these awards. And then we have a process for selecting the winners. Now I have with us Dani Castro. Dani is the graduate leader of the Dean's Council, and he is the project leader on this year's OWLIEs. So Dani, do you think you can inspire the people that are watching to get out there and nominate for the OWLIEs?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Powell, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. And I really loved just how you were able to cover essentially what the OWLIEs are. The OWLIEs is a beautiful tradition we have here at JSOM. And the reason is I'd love to share a quote to kind of embody what that is. There's a quote by Douglas Wood, right? He says, "The heart gives gives thanks, the heart that gives thanks is a happy one, for we cannot feel thankful and unhappy at the same time. All right. So when we give gratitude, when we share appreciation for those around us, it's a time of happiness. It's a time of recognition, especially, during this time where we've had a lot of things going on with the pandemic and other struggles that we, as fellow students and faculty and staff are unaware of. Taking time to appreciate others is just a wonderful tradition that we want to uphold here at JSOM. Now, who can you give thanks to? Dr. Powell covered that a little bit. We could give thanks to a fellow student, to a mentor, to a faculty, to staff, to alumni. We even give thanks to an employer who's taken the time to look at our students and to recognize the type of caliber student that we create and that we nurture here at the business school. When I'm speaking to my OWL team, the OWLIE team here in the Dean's Council, something we've been saying recently is don't wait, appreciate, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And so it's kind of like our beck and call, and so what I would like to do is just invite anyone who's viewing, anyone who's walking around campus and they see our little owl that we're going to be posting pretty soon, and the invitation to nominate others is to take a moment, meditate, think about those who've really impacted your journey. It doesn't necessarily need to be your academic journey. It could be your personal progression. It could be your emotional well-being. Anyone who has really impacted you in a positive way. Think about those who can be nominated, and don't wait, appreciate, because I'm sure, if you think they deserve it, all right, then, why not let us, why not give us the chance to recognize them for everything good they've done?
Dani, I love that phrase, don't wait, appreciate. I just think that is head on the right expression for getting the nominations out. That owl that sits in our courtyard is actually a piece of art that was created by a local Dallas artist, and it was not a cheap piece of art either. But the actual OWLIE trophies are done by the artist, and they are beautiful. They're a small replica of that owl that sits in the courtyard on a platform, and they're just really beautiful awards. And I will tell you, they are highly coveted. If you go into a faculty member's office who has won an OWLIE, you will see it prominently displayed in their office, and it's competitive. The last couple of years, when we have not been able to do the OWLIEs face-to-face, we have done virtual renditions, and those have been highly watched. Year before last, over 50,000 people have watched that virtual OWLIEs award. So we get a lot of national and international recognition for how well we do the OWLIEs. This year, the great thing is we're going to be live. We're going to be in Davidson. I think it's April 13th, Norma, at 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And so, we're going to want people to come out and, root on the finalist and, be there to see a little bit of entertainment. It really is the Academy Award version that the Jindal School offers to recognize outstanding, worthy leaders involved exceptionally. So don't wait, appreciate. I love that. And let's get after it and have some great, great nominees for the OWLIEs this year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Powell. And lastly, I just wanted to reiterate those dates for anyone who is interested. All right, nominations right now, they are open. All right, you may have received an email last Friday from Norma just inviting everyone to go and vote or to nominate. All right, to go nominate anyone. All right, those nominations are open until March 20th. All right, so we have some time. March 20th is when nominations close. After that, we'll be able to vote up until April 13th, which is when we will present the OWLIEs.
Yeah, and it will be a fun occasion. It is always a highlight of the year, and it's Dean Percool's favorite event. And I think, Norma, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the 8th or 9th OWLIEs. I can't remember. I think it's the 8th.
8th, yes.
It's the 8th OWLIEs. So it is now here forever and ever. The OWLIEs will be there. So thank you, Dani, for that. David, I want to bring you a little bit into the conversation because I think we're approaching the middle part of, hold on, somebody's trying to transfer something to me. We're approaching the middle part of the semester. And we're starting, the students that are having challenges and difficulties in their courses are becoming aware of that. Given that you're a program director and you are also a faculty member teaching courses, do you have 2 or 3 pieces of advice for any students that might be struggling right now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, thank you, Dean Powell. That's a great question. And those come up regularly, not just with the supply chain students, but I mean, just students in general that may be in other programs that are in the courses with me. One of the biggest ones is, hey, I'm sick, what do I do? And the question I just got last night, I'm running a fever and coughing, but my team is presenting and there's a quiz due. Do I have to come into class? Well, absolutely not. But, and also being the COVID tracing person for JSOM, report that, get that to C19, because they're going to work with you to determine what your situation is and help you make that work up with that faculty member. I can't stress that enough. And I think that's the biggest concern that students call and say, hey, I'm sick, should I come to class or not? So make sure you're doing that. I got to reiterate what Angela said too. Keep those deadlines for when the schedule opens up. When is the last time to drop? And as Dean Powell said, read those syllabi. Now, as she mentioned, it's not indicative of that's the course as it stands, because there are circumstances where we change around. But for the most part, concept, learning, objectives and goals, even some of the major topics, those are in there. That'll give you an idea of what that course contains. And if you're not very familiar with Coursebook, which I hope everybody is, but if you're not, get a hold of your program director, get a hold of your program coordinator. We'll help you walk through so you can find where those courses are. And I think that's the biggest things that I've been seeing through the midpoint. The last thing I'll say is that I'm getting a lot of questions about, hey, where am I grade-wise, point-wise? Make sure you're comparing your performance to what are the points assigned for that class, what are they showing in e-learning, and the total available points that you have for that class to get an idea about where you are as you go into midterm. So I think those are the 3 biggest points that keep coming up, Dean Powell.
David, thank you so much for that. I think that students always have a very hopeful perspective. I'll figure it out. I'll get past my frustration, and then they tend to wait too long. Now is the perfect time. We are a month into the semester. Now is the time to be asking for assistance or identifying a classmate who can help you if you're struggling, or seeking out office hours with your faculty member if you need to go over content. I think the biggest mistake that graduate students make is that they don't review their class content at the end of every class day. Yeah. If you went over what was studied in that class, number 1, you're going to remember it a lot better if you do it that day. And number 2, you're going to identify, oh my gosh, I didn't really catch that. Let me follow up with the faculty member this week or the TA this week to fill in that gap. So, be proactive. I think we want to sort of just attend class and then worry about it the next week when we get ready to attend class. And that's a little bit late for the game.
I think so too. And if I can make one more point,
sure.
You just hit a very good point about reviewing that class for that day, for that time. Some faculty members, myself included, we create agendas for the class and what we're going to be discussing through that. Read those agendas, go back afterwards. And then if there were pieces of that, hey, that didn't really sink in, or you've got questions on it, as Dean Powell said, get a hold of the faculty member, get a hold of the TA and ask them, hey, can you help me understand this piece here? Now that was a good point.
Don't wait. That's so frustrating for me in trying to help students when they wait too late and too many points are under the bridge and there are not enough remaining points to get them over the hurdle. So be sure to do that. The last thing that I just want to kind of bring up here at the end of our very short chat with the Grad Dean and team today is, it is wonderful to be back on campus. When I walk through the halls and they're full of students and I see setups for student organization meetings going on, late in the evening, and they've got alums that are showing up. And I actually see that the parking lot is pretty competitive. It's a great feeling to see that the university is up and thriving and students are engaging and faculty are back. I think after, in a little less than a month, we will be at the 2-year mark since the world went to shelter in place. And in that 2 years, I think we've gotten comfortable in our cocoons a little bit, in the sense that, you know, some interaction isn't as natural as it was pre-pandemic. And I think that, you know, we've gotten a lot more comfortable, you know, doing all of our communicating with our cell phone and IM and Teams messages and emails. We need to kind of break ourselves out of that mold, and students need to kind of push themselves to be more engaged in an external way right now, because that's one of my observations when I walk through the school, is I don't see students congregating quite in the same way that they did pre-pandemic. And I don't see as much chatter and, you know, people laughing or just, you know, kind of engaging. And I think there's a little bit of, gosh, we haven't done this in a long time, I don't know how, but push yourselves a little bit to get out there and to do that. I do think that we're on the cusp of returning to a better tomorrow than we had pre-pandemic. I think life's going to be exciting. I think we'll get to the fall and, you know, maybe it'll be so much better than what it was before pandemic. But I think a lot of it's going to have to do with our attitude to get back in the saddle and, you know, ride into the day in the way that we're eager to engage and interact. I mean, after all, you guys, we're humans. That's what humans do. You know, they're made to congregate, collaborate, and have fun with each other. So let's be sure to do that. Now, Norma, I am betting we might have just a few questions from people that are watching live. So are there any questions today?
I do have one. So our one question that we do have submitted is, do you have any insight on when the commencement schedule with times will be released? May the 16th to 18th has been blocked off, but since it's in the middle of the week, as much advance notice as possible would be appreciated for those of us that may need to request time off of work.
Yeah, that is a great question. We do not know yet. And let me tell you why we don't know that yet. When they extend the graduation application deadline, that is what we are waiting for. We're waiting to identify what all of our numbers are. Then the university looks at all of those numbers and we figure out how to slot them into the schedule. So I can tell you it will not be until after, what was it, Angela, March 1?
Yes.
I think the March 1 date, when the university gets all of the people that will be graduating, we will have our numbers, and then we'll know, okay, JSOM is having 4 ceremonies or 3 ceremonies. And then we kind of put it into the configuration. So it should be within right before spring break, hopefully, that we'll be able to say, you know, where is JSOM in that setup? What are the times and where is your block? So we'll try to get that out to students as soon as we can. But that's a really great question. And students don't realize it really is tied to the graduation application.
I do have one more that was submitted while we were discussing the response to the last one. It says, how is UTD going to make more resources available for virtual only students who are enrolled in full-time online programs? They enrolled with the perception they would have access to all the resources available to in-person students, but it seems like they're not experiencing that.
So that's a really great question, and I appreciate that question very much. So I think that all of the resources, for example, you should be able to access anything in the library electronically. You should be able to access your faculty in office hours electronically. You should be able to access advising electronically to get counsel. You should be able to meet with your program directors, have conversations with program managers. You should be able to do all of that electronically. You should also be able to attend almost every career function is being conducted virtually these days because our employers really like that. So you should be able to apply for any internships, any open jobs through Handshake. You should be able to attend any workshop electronically. And all of these organizations, including the Jindal School, we have the student question desk where you can, get instant answers to your questions by chatting live with the question desk. You can chat live with the Career Center. Our JSOM Career Center as well has a live chat. So if there is something that you feel like you don't know how to access electronically as a resource, then you need to send us an email at jindal@utdallas.edu. Tell us what you want to know how to electronically connect with, and we will make sure that you have that question. But when it comes to the registrar's office, the bursar's office, the parking office, you know, the only thing you, I guess, can't electronically access is the rec center. I don't think that they offer virtual trainer sessions. So you can't, like, I guess, you know, go visit you can't swim in the pool virtually. But everything else should be available to you. So Norma, any other questions that kind of popped in there at the last minute?
No, looks like that's it.
Well, if you have anything that we can help you with, don't hesitate to ever send us an email to jindal@utdallas.edu. We are more than glad to answer those questions, or reach out to the question desk to ask those questions. But remember, the best place to go for the kind of assistance that I think that you want is really your program and your program director and your program support person. Those people know the answers to just about every question you have. It's almost like a one-stop shop destination. So instead of searching around, go to them and they'll tell you exactly how to get an answer to your question. But you guys, thank you so much for joining us for maybe a truncated version of Chat with the Graduate Dean today. I want to thank the people that joined me. Angela, thank you for those tidbits on those upcoming deadlines and some of the things to be thoughtful about. Dani, thank you for inspiring all the students to don't wait and appreciate and get out there and start nominating for the OWLIEs. And of course, David, thank you so much for the insight that you have on suggestions on how students who might be challenged at this moment to kind of overcome those. Again, be in touch with us. We'll be back in another month to have another chat with the Graduate Dean, and we thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. So everybody out there, take care. We'll be in touch again soon.